Hello, everybody. What in the hell's going on? Yep, I'm gonna cover the part 1 of the Hart family Barbarian Inquest of the parents. Okay. And basically, we were the first people on YouTube, basically, to cover the Hart case. You remember that? So if you were around back then, you were in my on my channel, I guess you could call it, and we covered it from the second they found the bodies all the way up until months later. And we had it all figured out what actually happened from the very beginning. Of course, there's always little details here and there that you don't know because you wouldn't get to know that. All right. So that's the thing is, I mean, there's no way to know unless you're a psychic that, what the exact level of Benadryl they had in their system, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I spent a lot of the day, I was supposed to play golf, but it was raining, my hip kind of hurt a little bit, and I got to get this new chair. This chair sucks. And then I just wasn't feeling that great, so I just sat around and watched I edited together the important parts of the first day of the inquest. So I'll do the same thing on the next part. No, I didn't get a haircut, Wicked Gaming. I'm not sure what that has to do with what we're doing. Let's see. Hey, thanks. Yes, I got a haircut. You know, as a matter of fact, let's talk about my haircut. Now, the haircut involved a 3-part precision action. Thanks, delusional lucidity. At least it's not 99 cents. I remember when I was joking around about 99 cents, somebody goes, "Oh, you're so rude." Oh, come on. You got to joke if it's 99 cents, right? Yeah, like that. $1.99, right? Someone Hill. Hey, well, there you go, Wicked Gaming. See, that's like how a guy would say it. You know? You leave it up to interpretation. See, a guy would say, "Wow, what do you got on today?" And they'll go, "What? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?" "No, I just thought it looked great." Right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I actually put together, it's like a 27-minute long video. You know what I should do is open up the lines, just in case at any point somebody wants to call, okay? But have something to say related to what we're talking about, okay? Not, hey, just wanted to say hi, that's not what I want to do. If you want to call in, it's going to be about the topic. Hey! Thanks, delusional lucidity. Chair, yeah, maybe I might need a hip replacement.
Chair find an hip replacement.
I don't know though, Wicked Gaming. If you say haircut, hey, did you get a haircut? You could have just said, "Hey, your hair looks nice," but in reality, I didn't get a haircut. It's just luck. Somehow today, all the gods were aligned and my hair was put in the right position. I don't know. Yeah, I think that, the chair is supposed to be here like now. I'm not sure why it's not here right now. All right. Okay, so here we go. That's the number. If you want to call it in later, just write it down, but I'm switching over to a different screen now. Just a second.
I have called.
Okay, this guy, the sheriff of Mendocino County, His name is Tom Allman. All right, and that's this guy right here. He put together a coroner's inquest. Okay, I've heard of coroner inquest. They're just sort of when there isn't a trial, but people want to get to the root of something. There's nobody to charge, right? Everybody's dead. I mean, there's not even anybody to interview that was in the family. All 8 of the Hart family were killed. Somebody got on me for referring to them as a family, and I was actually thinking to myself, I kind of agree with that. Was it really a family? And I got to tell you, one of the things that at the end, the final, I was reading an article, they said that, I saw an interview, and they said that they think that that the Hart family was just saying, if I can't take care of the kids, then you can't either. Nobody else can. And I think that's a bullshit finding. If that's really what you think, you guys are morons. Oh yeah, they killed him like a jealous. If we can't take care of our kids, nobody can. That's not why you killed him. You killed him so that there'd be no living witnesses to the hell that you put them through. Had they survived, they would have told everybody the story of what really happened. And that's the truth of it. From the mouths of the children. Okay? Alright, so anyways, here's the... I'll just start playing the interview. I edited it all together to points that I thought were important. And then also, let me open up Google Earth so we can bounce back and forth from time to time. Because we have it all mapped out. Man, I can't believe that when they said that, yeah, we feel like they just didn't want to, if they couldn't take care of the kids, nobody could. That's such a PC bullshit answer. It's trying to not really tell the story. Well, Gray, you weren't privy to all the... Yeah, yes, we were. We saw all the crap, how they were under... And I got to tell you something, too. The medical examiner in this inquest, I hope he never testifies at a trial, because go watch it. It is hard to listen to. This guy can barely get a sentence out. He says things that are just like, really? You sound like a clown. It was embarrassing. Okay, go watch it if you have time. I'm cutting it up so he looks better than he really looked. All right, so hold on. This isn't the right place of it. Let me go to the Hart. There we go. So I'll just get this up on the screen so we have different spots for the Hart case here. Actually, I'll go here first. Okay, so we got that. Now let's get started now.
For a coroner's inquest to be conducted and investigate the facts involving this tragedy.
You will not be asked, nor is it relevant for this type of hearing to determine either civil or criminal...
See, I'm editing it all this together. Let me get this better music in here. Hold on. Not that one. I gotta get my April Tinsley music in. I think that's better for this. Yeah. This fits this one. This is a joke. Alright, so here we go.
For a coroner's inquest to be conducted and investigate the facts involving this tragedy.
You will not be asked, nor is it relevant for this type of hearing to determine either civil or criminal responsibility on the part of anyone, not the decedents, not anyone. So that will be your role. And as I've indicated, a coroner's inquest is designed to put out into the open the circumstance of a death or deaths. And so
This guy's
the
great.
evidence that I will be calling it
Very articulate.
will give you
Very clear.
an overview of not just the incident itself, but the background and all, which will allow you as jurors to make a determination as to those modes, perhaps motives, various things that will come into this situation.
All right, so on March 26th, it was approximately 3:43 in the afternoon. I received a call from our dispatch.
So this is the first guy on the
The
scene
call was a vehicle that was
with a trainee.
spotted at the base of a cliff up north, up by the San Juan Bridge. At 3:43, me and Officer Sanchez, we were busy with a unrelated incident, and we weren't able to respond immediately. We concluded our duties with the unrelated incident at approximately 16:32, and then responded to the vehicle that was over the cliff.
Yes.
So 4:32 in the afternoon was when we concluded the other incident, and we then responded to San Juan Bridge for the vehicle. We arrived at the scene at 5:27 in the afternoon. The scene was a large dirt turnout that was on the west side of Highway 1.
Right.
This is the San Juan Bridge here. We arrived and pulled into this turnout here, which at the time was filled with emergency personnel fire trucks, mostly. And so upon our arrival, we were told by fire personnel that they had already been down to the vehicle. They had accessed the vehicle by walking in from the north through this way. The vehicle was located down here, as you can see over here. They walked in through the north, which at the time that they walked through was they told me approximately knee-deep water. However, by the time that we got there, you couldn't really access through this way without you would be fully swimming in the surf at that time.
So the vehicle's like
so
right there.
The only way that you could safely access the vehicle was to rappel down, and it was roughly somewhere in this general area here. They had a rappel line going down. However, for the CHP, I haven't been trained for rappelling, so I wasn't unable to go down to the vehicle. So the on-scene fire, they told me that there were 2 people that were still trapped inside the vehicle and 3 others that were outside, 2 of which were located near the vehicle within the rocks here, and 1 had washed further down the beach, and she was down here laying in the surf at 6 o'clock p.m. They utilized the helicopter, and they brought up the 3 individuals that were outside of the vehicle. They attempted to extricate the other 2 individuals from the vehicle. However, it was upside down and in the surf and at the base of the cliff, so they were limited on tools that they could have down there, so they were unable to get the other 2 out of the vehicle. So at that point, we had to request for what we call a big rig tow truck. It's a full-size semi-truck, which was...
Yeah, so they first tried with a regular tow truck, and it was too heavy. So then they had to get a big rig tow truck. And then they had people rappel down from the fire department, hook up the truck, and then they were able to pull it up.
all-in-one towing. They responded from the Ukiah area.
So,
By the time the vehicle
Yeah,
pulled up,
let's just
there was
listen to what
one
they're
individual
saying.
remaining in the vehicle.
Someone
The
Hill.
other individual, as the truck was being pulled up, came out of the vehicle, and she was now down in the rocks. So the vehicle got pulled up with the passenger. The driver was the one that fell out,
okay.
which was Jennifer. So
And did you identify
Not at that
anyone
time.
yourself? Or?
See, you
not
hear
at
that?
time, no.
See, I'm kind of, this is sort of morbid, but I feel kind of glad. Like they were lifting up the truck and Jennifer plummeted and bang against the rocks again. You know? So it's like that must have been the only sort of moment where you could go, that's appropriate.
You heard from somebody else that the driver had been identified as Jennifer.
At a later time, right.
All right, and that's certainly appropriate. You can testify to that. Passengers still remained in the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
And that passenger was identified as whom?
Sarah.
All right. Where was she located when you observed her in the vehicle?
She was in the passenger seat, which was, the roof was pretty much caved in and it was leaned back pretty far. Actually, I'm not sure. It was kind of hard to tell with the...
Yeah, it sounds like Sarah was
with
squished
the vehicle.
behind the
Not
front
exactly where she
seat
was located. It was
and
kinda-
the other
The
seats.
passenger seat was kind of smashed down completely, so she was
Right.
somewhat in the passenger area.
Just so the jury understands, it's a
So these...
Yeah, we know
the rocks
San Juan
in the
Hill.
vehicle
We've been
right
following
there,
the case since the
rocks
beginning.
down here,
We've
that is
We know. They haven't
Roughly
found
this is
Devontae.
the-
Everybody knows that. That's on this
the
channel.
heavily rocky area. This vehicle is facing southerly, so it's laying here, kind of facing this direction down the beach. No, nothing that I could think of right now. Just I guess that it was a. I've responded to quite a few collisions on the coast area and vehicle.
And here's the thing. Part of what they were saying was that the firemen actually, when they first got there, walked down here and came around like this, right? Because the water was out. But when the wait, you just said your name. You said someone Hill said someone asked. Okay, so the thing is you walked around like this, right? And then later the water came in. It got up to like 3 feet deep, so you could only swim around. So they had to change up their plan.
Down the cliffs, and it was very unusual to have no evidence of any kind to indicate of why it went down the cliff.
Mhm.
It was definitely out of the ordinary.
I see. And out of the ordinary because there was nothing that you saw that.
And in reality, they haven't really found Hannah. They found a foot.
Anything by way of skid marks or anything such as that. Is that what you mean?
Right.
All right.
CHP was there, Westport Fire, the air helicopter had just gotten there. So there was probably
This guy's
around
really
8 to 10
callous
emergency
the way he
vehicles,
talks.
a bunch of firefighters running around. I got in contact with the Westport fire chief. He basically told me that there were 2 people in the vehicle deceased and then 3 additional people on the shore.
When he starts talking about the
One
body
further away,
bags,
like Officer
Jesus.
Covington explained. And death was obvious for all of them. They were all cold, rigor mortis. There was also water in the vehicle tire well that was warm, so that kind of indicated that the vehicle had been there for a little bit.
Well, tell the jury precisely what you did then. What was your role when you first arrived?
So I first
Yeah.
grabbed
Well, what's weird is it was a big story for my channel and other people. I mean, we seem to have a lot of people watching almost a year ago, right? We covered the whole damn thing. But now everybody's talking about it because they finally did the inquest. Because now the sensationalistic information is out. So they all think that they can get a bunch of people discussing it. I'm discussing it because it's just part of what I was doing. Okay, this is the final hurrah, or whatever you call it, the final verdict in the case. You know, I don't really know I've never actually worked on a case before that had a coroner's inquest, right? So that's the thing, is there's a lot of people that are, now it's a big story, okay? But this was like a year ago that we started covering this. Right when they found, as a matter of fact, the day they found the car and the 3 children in it, we started looking into it. We put it all together, found where they lived, all that stuff, started finding videos online, and you could tell that these kids were completely malnourished and treated like absolute garbage.
3 of the body bags that we placed the decedents in, and those were provided to Fort Bragg and Westport firefighters, which they took down to the shore, and then they placed the decedents in the bags, and the CHP air helicopter brought the first 3 up to the landing there, or the turnout, where I looked at all of them, determined that death was obvious, and attempted to identify them. Unfortunately, there wasn't any identifying information on them. So they were all placed in body bags and labeled as Jane and John Doe's. So I moved to a turnout further south, and I turned on all my spotlights on the patrol vehicle.
I edited out a lot of his callous
personnel down on the
comments.
shore some more light for hooking the vehicle up. And I stayed there and I just kind of watched what was happening with the recovery. And with the cliff, basically the vehicle got brought straight up and flipped onto its roof. So unfortunately it got more damaged. And then I saw one of the decedents that was in the driver's seat fall from the vehicle along with a bag.
Darn,
Start
boy,
with
isn't that sad.
Jennifer Hart.
Okay. For Jennifer Hart,
This guy
her date of
sucks,
birth
okay?
is,
I'm just being honest.
June 4, 1979, and her age is 38 years.
And ask you, did you
His-
perform an autopsy
um,
on the body of Jennifer?
His lip sync is off. That's just how it is on the recording. And the main guy that's doing the whole inquest, his isn't. So you can't really, you can only fix one or the other. I mean, you could if you sat there for hours and hours and did each clip individually.
Yes, I did.
And Doctor, just a couple preliminary matters. Can you tell us when did you perform that autopsy?
The autopsy for Jennifer Hart was done on March 29th of 2018 at 10:20 in the morning or 10:20 hours.
Can you guys hear this well? Or?
Okay, the cause of death on her was multiple blunt force injuries due to. It was. I ruled it as multiple blunt force injuries, especially neck and right chest.
See, like, let me just tell you, for example, that detective that was on just before this guy, he said, yeah, we dumped him in the body. I mean, placed him in the body bag. So his natural comment was going to be something really cold sounding, you know, and it was everything he kept saying sounded like that. I was like, whoa, man, Jesus, have a little. I mean, I'm not PC either, but like if you're in that industry, you know, you got to realize that family members are listening. You know, other people out there, you know, relatives that they might have, or just people like us that cared about, wow, all 6 of these kids got killed. Now you're referring to them almost like trash, you know.
Due to motor vehicle plunge off the cliff with rollover, from what I gathered from the reports. And she had a significant amount of ethanol at 0.102 grams percent in the blood and 0.104% grams percent in the vitreous humor. The main cause of her death, that I ruled it in seconds, is called mainly a.
See, this guy, when he was asked, this guy right here, so tell us why you couldn't really tell us what the time of death was. And he keeps saying, like right there, oh yeah, it was in seconds. Like, because they died quickly. That's not what he was asking. He tried to get you to answer it twice, and you still didn't get it. You know, nobody said how quickly did they die. He asked you what the time of death was. I mean, it was really frustrating to listen to this guy. I'm actually editing it so he looks great, comparatively.
An Atlanto-occipital dislocation, which is the shearing force of the crash, kind of dislocates the skull and the first cervical vertebra, which is called the atlas. It's kind of called an internal decapitation because you, in many cases, you sever.
What's strange is almost all of them had the same thing, internal decapitation, where their head, there was so much force that their head snapped off from the top vertebrae.
Also, the
and usually it severs the spinal cord.
The spinal cord.
Yeah.
Any significant findings on your external examination as to Jennifer?
There were a lot of multiple cutaneous traumatic injuries, like lacerations, where, and then there was abrasions. There were contusions. She, especially on the side of the face, was a lot of deep lacerations. And then, surprisingly, they didn't have any, other than the rib fractures, but no, like, say, broken bones, broken pelvis. There was none of that. Yeah, that's it here. Large area diagonal abrasions.
See, he said that when he was first asked, did Jennifer Hart have her seatbelt on? He said no. But now he's reading it.
Covering a surface area from the left breast extending to the right lower quadrant of the abdomen.
And doctor, that would indicate is that a conclusive that in your view, or is that's
it's likely she was belted, yes.
Nice.
So he's saying it's very likely that Jennifer Hart had a seatbelt on.
And you say likely.
Yes, it's very likely.
Mm-hmm. All right, doctor. Let's.
I don't think
move
people
along
agree
to
with him now. That's the
Sarah
thing. This
Hart.
guy's all over the place.
You know, I'll ask the same question. Did you, in fact, perform an autopsy on
Thanks,
the
Jamie
body of
Pelfrey.
Sarah Hart?
Yes.
And what was the date of that autopsy?
That was also March 29th. Sarah Hart, her date of birth is April 8, 1979, and she's also 38 years of age.
Right. All right. And with respect to that autopsy,
And by the way, they did both the ages after talking about both of them, and I just put the clips back into where they should have been, approximately.
can you tell us your significant findings on external exam?
Essentially, her cause of death is it was an atlanto-occipital dislocation with traumatic asphyxia, in parenthesis second, and then due to she was pinned between the seats and the roof, and then due to a motor vehicle rollover over the cliff. From all the injuries, it does not appear that she was belted. No.
Can you testify as to what the significant toxicology findings were?
The significant toxicology for Sarah was a diphenhydramine, which is known as Benadryl. Her level is 2,100 nanograms per milliliters, which in conversion is 2.1 milligrams per liter.
And I appreciate it's not a lethal dose.
Right.
But I do appreciate it appears that it's well beyond the recommended therapeutic dose. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's fair to say. So however it was ingested, whether it was dissolved or pills or however, in Sarah Hart there was, fair to say, well beyond the therapeutic dose of Benadryl in her system at the time of autopsy.
That's correct.
And so I've heard a lot of websites and so forth saying, oh, she had 42 doses, but I didn't hear this guy say that. So maybe it shows up tomorrow or something. Or people are out there doing math and coming up with their own theories.
Did you perform the autopsy on the body of Marcus Hart?
Yes.
And what date was that autopsy?
The date of autopsy was March 30th of 2018.
All right, thank you, doctor. What was the date of birth of Marcus and his age, please, at time of autopsy?
Marcus Hart, his date of birth is July 1, 1998, and his age is 19 years.
All right. Now, doctor, with respect to the protocol, can you tell us your significant findings with respect to the external examination of the body of Marcus Hart?
Other than a lot of multiple acute injuries that which you get in in a motor vehicle accident, there was no evidence that he was on a seat belt.
You say there was no evidence?
Of
I mean, how could he could just barely get that
So
word
in other
out?
words, there was no injury on his chest.
My
that
God,
would
really? I
indicate
mean,
to you-
look, listen to that.
evidence that he was on a seat belt.
You say there was no evidence?
Wow.
Of
Wow.
seatbelt use.
I see. So in other words, there was no injury on his chest that would indicate to you that he had been wearing a seatbelt or a lap belt. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Internal findings is similar to the two adults. Was also an atlanto-occipital dislocation.
See,
which was the
his head
cause of
also came off, but
the
with
cause
the
of
skin
death
still
was
holding his head
final,
on.
Is an atlanto-occipital dislocation, and then in parentheses it's seconds, and then
Who
due
cares about
to
seconds?
motor vehicle rollover over cliff with ejection, which I think from what I remembered in the record that he was found in the vicinity of the motor vehicle, so that was also in seconds, and then. Other significant conditions, he also had
So they had to come back after a break and explain what he means
And
by
can you
in
tell
seconds.
the jury at what level did he have that diphenhydramine?
His level was 0.960. In the report, let's go further back. His report was.
No, there was no 90 mile an
60
hour. They weren't going 90
nanograms per
miles an hour.
milliliter, which on conversion is 0.960.
See, at the beginning, we used to think, oh my God, the because it was pegged at 100 miles an hour. But what happened was, is it accelerated off, but it was only going probably like 50 or 40. And her foot pressed the gas pedal when it was in midair, and it revved it up. It just made it look like it was like that. But, like when it's in the air, it goes... Right. So while it was in the air, she pushed on the pedal, and it went to 100, and it sort of stuck there.
Milligrams per liter.
Because there's no friction on the wheels.
So, could you tell us what was his weight at autopsy?
His weight is 124 pounds.
Okay, he's 19 years old, 124 pounds. I don't care. I mean, that is so light. Okay? This guy, you're gonna be angry at this guy in a little bit. More so. Because he's not telling the truth.
Fair to say he too had a significant amount of diphenhydramine in his system at the time of autopsy.
He had a significant, but the level was not close to the toxic range, which was, I mentioned, 1 to 5 milligrams per liter.
Was it in excess of of normal therapeutic dose? I'll use that term.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it indeed was.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But certainly from your testimony and from your report, that again, it was a very similar traumatic injury to his neck that caused his death. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
All right. Did you perform an autopsy on the body of Abigail Hart?
Yes.
And what was, and excuse me, you answered that the last 3 were all done on March 30th, is that correct?
That's correct.
So fair to assume that Abigail's was done on March 30th?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell the jury her date of birth and her age at the time of
Her date of birth is December 26th of 2003, and her age was 14. Weight was 82 pounds.
Now, doctor, can you tell the jury your significant?
Is December 26th of 2003, and her age was 14. Weight was 82 pounds.
Okay, a 14-year-old girl weighing 82 pounds, that is so tiny. Okay, 100 is, still small. But, well, how tall is she, Gray? I don't know. But Abigail was actually taller than the other ones. Okay, but 80, give me a break.
Doctor, can you tell the jury your significant external findings with respect to the body of Abigail Hart?
There were multiple cutaneous injuries consistent with motor vehicle collision. Like there were lacerations on the right medial eye and the bridge of the nose, which is here, and another laceration below the right eyebrow. But they were not big injuries, and there were no injuries to suggest that she was wearing a seatbelt.
Doctor, let me ask, now with respect to Abigail Hart, what are your significant findings on your internal examination?
Internal examination was mostly, again, another atlanto-occipital dislocation.
Now, you mentioned that she also had diphenhydramine in her system. And can you tell us the toxicology?
Okay, her toxicology was 700 nanograms per milliliter, which if you convert that is 0.700 milligrams per liter. Again, with Marcus, it's significant over the therapeutic level, and the upper level of therapeutic level is 0.26 according to some publications. So the therapeutic, as I reiterate, 0.26 is the upper level of therapeutic level. She was 0.70.
Mm-hmm. Still above the therapeutic level?
Yes, but not enough to call it toxic overdose range.
I see. With respect to Abigail, is there anything that you noted or would find remarkable for her age and her height, or her weight being appear to be undernourished, or anything such as that that you might have noted?
No, I didn't think she was malnourished in some form.
All right.
Look at this
And
guy.
the same
Listen
as
to him.
Marcus.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were emaciated or cachectic or like that. It didn't look like.
All right.
He's saying it doesn't look like they were
Jeremiah Hart,
malnourished. Give me a break.
perform an autopsy on the body of Jeremiah.
Yes,
And when
God,
was that autopsy?
this guy's a
I know you've told
clown.
us already, but
Seriously.
for the record.
autopsy is March 30th of 2018.
And you could tell this guy thinks that they were, but
uh,
he's like, whoa,
Is the
wow,
date of
what kind of an
birth
answer is that?
Jeremiah.
Her date of birth is February 24, 2004, and he is 14 years old.
Can you tell us what were your significant findings on the external examination of Jeremiah?
Again, there was not much significant injuries. Many of them were small. No evidence of seatbelt usage. The largest cutaneous injury was a 4 by 2.5 inch abrasion on the left face and chin.
But that injury was not something that was a fatal injury, is that correct?
That's correct.
And can you tell us what were your significant findings on internal examination?
Internal examination, again, another atlanto.
See, another head
occipital
came off.
dislocation,
It's crazy.
which was the cause of death, in parentheses, is seconds, due to a motor vehicle rollover with ejection. Again, the time of death in seconds.
Yeah, I don't think he's got like a
There was
malintent.
flattening
He
of the
just seems
gyri of the
really
brain. That's due to some kind
poor at
of
what he does.
edema, maybe due to he was ejected. But it wasn't that the flattening of the.
And here, this isn't a situation where I'm like, well, Gray. I mean, that's just what you think. You're wishing it was the way it was. No, everybody saw the pictures. Remember the house full of food. The kids had no toys or anything like that. And they were going over to the neighbor's house, Devante was, to get food from the neighbors because they weren't getting any food. All right? And he got enough food for all of them he was trying to get. And that's how it all ended, too, is because the neighbors finally, the second time around, called CPS.
Toxicology?
And you've seen the pictures
He
of
also
them.
had diphenhydramine at a level.
No, they didn't wear
of
seatbelts. Only one wore
440
seatbelts. One.
nanograms per milliliter, which is
Jennifer.
calculated as 0.440 milligrams.
Yeah, they used
per
to always
liter.
wear them, yeah,
So significantly
before.
lower than Marcus and Abigail.
Yeah. Yeah, well, here's what they
Therapeutic dose?
said is Sarah said that, or people said that Sarah was a seatbelt Nazi. She made everybody wear seatbelts all the time. So now that you know that she wasn't wearing one and nobody else was wearing one except Jennifer, you kind of wonder why Jennifer had a seatbelt on. Maybe she was hoping to live so she could spin a whole story afterwards.
Yes,
Still above this therapeutic
yes,
dose. Did you perform an autopsy on the body of Sierra?
yes.
And when was that performed?
This was on April 10 of 2018.
And can you tell us what was the date of birth of Sierra?
Her date of birth is April 20 of 2005, and her age was 12 years.
All right. And what was her weight at autopsy?
Her weight at autopsy was 73 73 pounds. I'm sorry.
All right. Can you tell us then, tell the jury, what were your significant
Was that hard to
findings
say,
on
73
external
pounds? It's just,
examination?
this guy,
And, well, let me go back.
I mean, I make mistakes all the time, but man, this guy.
Since she was been exposed to the water, so there is some significant amount of decomposition, especially in the skin, where there was skin slippage, then there was depigmentation because the layer of the pigment has already been removed. She also was, from the neck up, was mostly bone, is like, it was like skeletonized, so there was no eyes, no hair, no, it was a complete skull. And then when we opened the brain, it was just very liquefied, very soft, that you can't make a
Hey, it sounds like Kevin Horn.
a good brain. It's like, it looks like some grayish goo.
Anybody understand anything this guy says?
All you could do is just describe it and then just put it in the formalin preservative.
I mean, just listen to this part right here. This whole part about the brain.
There was no eyes, no hair, no. It was.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I can understand it, but he's a you know. Come on, Cindy. You know what I'm saying.
It was just
Listen to
very
him.
liquefied, very soft, that you can't make a good brain. It's like, it looks like some grayish goo material that you could. All you could do is just describe it and then just put it in the formalin preservative. And then there's.
Her body was intact, was it not?
God, he would have gone on for another 10 minutes about that.
Dissociation of the skull with the rest of the body due to the decomposition and skeletonization. There was also closed fractures of both arms and the leg.
Let me try to do an imitation. Yeah, like, you know, like the brain, it was like a gooey kind of, you know, you really couldn't even, you know, like do anything with it, and it just sort of, you know, it was really hard to, you know, it was kind of a, you know, sort of made out of some kind of grayish sort of. It's ridiculous.
I'll get to more specific was.
Don't mention Chris Watts again,
both
okay?
Humerus, which is this bone here.
Indicating the upper arm.
Everything isn't Chris
And both
Watts.
femurs, which is the thigh bones. So they were closed fractures. So closed fractures is, you could feel the fracture, or like say when you examine, you rotate the leg like that, you can see there's free movement, but the fracture did not break through the underlying skeletal muscle, skin like that. So this is.
Oh, it's okay, Aussie
closed
Flag.
fracture.
I'm just goofing
An
around
open
myself.
Fracture, you can see the obvious fracture. You can see that a section of the bone just protrudes out of the skin.
Look how
That's an
happy he
open
is.
fracture.
Describe
Anything
that.
else on her external body that you found of significance that you'd like to tell the jury
Other
about?
than like the skeletonization due to since she was exposed to the water, you have marine creatures that just can eat through the like that, so causing a lot of complete exposure of the skull. Since
Wow.
this is
This is all they had?
we can only assume that her manner of death would have been similar to all the other children, because remember, this is
No,
a
the water
high-speed,
speeds up decomposition.
collision, and she was already ejected into the ocean.
Are there toxicology studies normally done in it?
You still would take toxicology, even though like you have a badly decomposed body. You would still try to take, if you can't get
I mean, maybe
any
not
blood,
ice water.
you can
know,
get
but-
other organs, like for example, if you can't get blood, the next best place or the organ that you could get is liver. Another is any skeletal muscle away from the body you can get for toxicology testing. None. It was all negative, because if you've been exposed to the water and a long period of time, most likely that many of the drugs that were in her system might have been metabolized by that time. So there, even if you got some, it's probably already been completely, the drugs, anything was completely gone like that.
Hannah Hart, and what her date of birth was?
Hannah Hart, her date of birth is
Listen to
February
this.
25, 2002, and an age of 16 years.
16 years old.
I note you have a weight here. Where did you obtain that particular weight? Can you tell us?
I received an email from Mendocino County with their report of their date of death with the weight and the height. So yeah, and I based it on their report.
I see. So we'll get that out of somebody. At some point, somebody had the weight of this particular individual, Hannah Hart, prior to her death, because it appears from your report that the only thing that was recovered from Hannah was a portion of her foot. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So you didn't perform an autopsy on her, nor did you conduct any toxicology studies on the recovered foot?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right.
Yeah. So that's it for the, and then it switched over to a whole different thread, which I think continues, or like, not a thread, a whole different line of questioning. So I'm going to add that with whatever the second half has in it. Okay, but this guy, I don't know, it's just really disappointing. Not his findings, really. I mean, some of the findings were, but the way he spoke about it. It was bizarre. You could tell the guy questioning him already sort of knew the answer to some of these things, but then was kind of surprised at the responses he was getting. There isn't one person out of the 6 kids that weighed above the very minimum possible, and some were outside the lowest range, okay? You know, I don't really even care about ranges, really. I mean, just look at them, okay? It's insane. Anyways, does anybody, you guys want to call in and discuss this one? Let me get this thing out of here. Thanks, Lori Vandevelt. Sounds a lot like Vandevelt, the guy that absolutely collapsed in the British Open about, seems like 20 years ago now. Now, it doesn't really, you mean the Turpins remind you of, I mean, this was first. This was before the Turpins. Right? Bet we covered the Turpins on here too, but then I quit covering it because everybody was covering the Turpins. Hello, your phone's on. I can hear it.
It's delusional lucidity.
Okay, you got to turn down your audio or your TVs. It sounds like you're in a museum with a bunch of people walking around.
Okay, hold on a second.
I don't know if museum was the right word, but hey, it's the first thing that popped into my head. All right.
Remember I was 6 years old.
Wow.
Here you go.
Yeah. Well, you're actually watching Golden Girls? My God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you hear that? There was like Maude was in the background. I can't believe it. Maybe it is a museum. Maybe it is a museum then. Holy crap.
I named one of my daughters Sophia Anna Marie.
Oh my God. So what's up?
Nothing. This case it makes me sick. And I agree with you. People who say that they did that, you know, like if I can't have them, you can't have them. That's bullshit. They were fake. They put on front.
Yeah.
All of those children were malnourished and abused to a degree that is so despicable. I mean, and she's such a coward. She knew that social worker, you know, I mean, they failed those children miserably. but I think they were catching on, like something's not right. And if I recall correctly, and maybe you know, wasn't a social worker or CPS due to do a visit or something like the day this happened, or?
Yeah, well, what happened is the Devontae was over there trying to get more food, and then the father of the neighbor, who's like 90, called like months prior, because there was another incident that they had told him about, and he was like, "Did you guys call CPS?" And he goes, "No, they explained it away." And he goes, "Forget it." And he called 911 and reported it, and the police didn't really do anything. They just, yeah, okay, great. So then this time they reported it again, but then when CPS came out, they drove to, I just heard this is on the parts that's coming out tomorrow, but when CPS came out on I think it was the 24th, because they went, the 23rd, excuse me, on the 23rd of March, I think it is. Yeah. They drove out and they drove up the driveway and went to the wrong house. They went to the neighbor's house, the one that reported. Well, hold on. Let me finish the sentence. So they drove up to the neighbor that reported its house, and while they pulled up, the SUV of the Hart family pulled up to the house. So they saw it, and they go, yeah, that's them, right? That's her right there. So when the CPS person went to the house, Sarah never answered the door. She never would answer it. So they took off. Yeah, they took off, and then they disappeared overnight. So on the so they think early morning 24th is when they took off. So there you go.
That social worker should have stayed right there and called the cops. You know, she had an obligation to those children. I mean, that kid jumped out of a bedroom window. Come on. I mean, and I'm not saying, you know, it's not the neighbor's fault, but, you know, you kind of have to be a mandated reporter. If something doesn't seem right, I mean, you can be anonymous.
I think the ball was dropped all the way through their entire existence in the system. Because every single state that they lived in, there was a CPS complaint, and it just seemed like it never traveled with them, the complaints. Like each state just kind of keeps their own shit, and you go to another state and you start over again. It's insane.
So that needs to be revised. That's a serious, because this is exactly what happened. They, you know, Sarah and Jennifer were manipulating the system. Every time the authorities were closing in, they'd move. And they're like, oh, they moved, okay, whatever. You know, no, not whatever.
Yeah.
There's 6 children involved here.
Now, what we said from the beginning was on this one was, as soon as they went off the clip, and then saw some of what they were doing on social media, and then that there was like a little hint of abuse out there that they had a record, I immediately started saying, listen, this is what I think is going on. I think that these are people that were trying to present themselves as this utopian sort of hippie, you know, far left kind of, look at us, man. Everybody just like us. We're the new age. Here, let me just finish my sentence. We got this new age family. Everybody just like us a lot. We are so great. This is how everybody should be. But in reality, they had these kids. They got them from Texas because Texas pays every month until the person's until they're 18 years old for children that have a mental disability. So, of course, the Harts made sure that the kids kept up their mental disability by not feeding them and spouting out how stupid their kids were at every chance that they could get. I mean, it was amazing. So, go ahead.
No, it's just such a terrible shame that, I mean, those women were evil. I mean, they were mentally unstable. They had no business adopting children. Absolutely no business.
I think they're barbarians.
I mean, they broke those children down.
Yeah, they're about as evil as you can get. I mean, the thing is they didn't really give a shit about the kids, okay? So when they sit there, if this inquest came out with, they just didn't want anybody else to ever have them. If we can't have them, nobody can. That is crap. They didn't care at all. These were fake sort of liberals, right? They were fake liberals, okay? I mean, I can respect a liberal because they just have their thing and they're doing it, but these people are fake, phony, ridiculous people. When they went to their house, they went into the house at the end, and it was chock full of meat and steak and all this kind of stuff for them to eat. Because if you look at Jennifer, she never missed a meal, okay? And Sarah wasn't far behind. Yeah, so neither of those two missed a meal at all. Okay, as a matter of fact, they probably put on the weight that the other kids would have had combined had they got something to eat occasionally. They were like the worst people. Yeah, they're just a joke. Okay, the whole time it was making me so angry. You know, remember that one concert when they passed up? They took Devontae and he was wearing a little zebra outfit, and they passed him up, and that's the one that goes, "Hey, I'm a, hey, I'm a, hey." Yeah, that one. Yeah. So they slide him up there, and he's like crying. You know, I don't know if he was genuinely crying or what, because the whole thing in Portland when he was crying with the police officer was something similar. You know. And actually, there's a lot of evidence that was just completely staged. Like, they were talking first, and she goes, "Okay, I go over there and give him a hug. Now, we need a big cry from you." Yeah, it just sucks. The whole thing.
Poor kid.
You know, and what they did was they took him on a last hurrah. Like, they did this whole trip that they've wanted to go on. So they stopped at all these different places. They even went south of where they were killed for a while. And then, remember, because she was caught on the surveillance camera at the store buying bananas and shit. You know.
I mean, I can't imagine how much fear was in those children in the last moments. You know, like, "Mom, what are you doing?"
Well, there might not have been much, but apparently, because they had a lot of Benadryl in them. They might not have known that was going to happen, so they were just really out of it. Yeah. You know, it might have been right as they were going off the edge they woke up, but that would have only been like 4 seconds, or maybe not even that. You know, just.
Well, I hope it was quick. I mean, it appears that it was.
Sounds like it. That's almost a miracle. What's weird is that all five. What's weird is that all five of. Hello. Yeah. What's weird is all 5 of the bodies all had their heads decapitated with the skin on, you know, like the head just separated from the top vertebrae, and they're all just sort of dead instantly. That's crazy that it would happen to all of them like that. But I guess at that angle, shooting down, maybe.
No, I was saying I thought you were completely right when you said, and I was laughing. I'm glad her body fell out. Stupid bitch.
Yeah, it's like, that's one sort of moment where you go, okay, at least you got some kind of indignity at the end. Because you know, she probably fell out and just plopped onto the rocks, you know. You know what the worst part was? I don't know where I think that they were saying that the family of Jennifer and them wanted all the kids and stuff buried with them. It's like, are you kidding me? Man, how about you give them back to the parents that they came from, that CPS ripped them from and ruined their lives, you know? And then you pay for it, CPS. You pay for all the funeral costs. You pay for everything, because this is all on you guys, every bit of it.
They buried them together?
Or at least not every bit, but like half of it. Because, you know, it takes the monsters to do what they're doing. Yeah.
That's disrespectful to the children. My God. And think about it, you're right. And CPS, the whole system's messed up. I have little respect for the system. It doesn't work right. And children that should be with their parents are ripped away from them. And children that are being abused die at their own parents' hands because they don't do their job.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
It's a messed up system. It's just so sad. It was terrible listening to that pathologist. I was like, dude, spit it out. I will sort it.
Yeah, I don't know
Get
what
it
he was,
right.
what it was all about. Like, does this guy testify at trials? I mean, I can't imagine a defense attorney would have a field day with that guy. They would just run around, you know. I don't know. Maybe he's just having a bad day. Well, we could chalk it up to that.
I guess.
I think Devontae. I always thought originally that he was killed somewhere else because he was sort of the family hero, but then he's the one, the hero that then turned on his family. That's what Jennifer thinks, but in reality, he was still being a hero for the other 5 kids by trying to go out and get food. I mean, he literally said, "Yeah, can you get us peanut butter?
Okay.
Can you get me some bread? Can you get me all this kind of stuff? Can you do this?" And because he wanted to feed his other brothers, but Jennifer would have thought of him as a traitor. Okay, so maybe they killed him somewhere else as a, you know. Something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
very likely they killed him prior and just put him in the car.
Yeah. I just feel so horrible for, just think about how shitty that felt. They were so hungry, and you just had these monsters as parents. Like I don't know if it was Sierra, but I think she was one of the CPS from before, like years prior, and apparently Jennifer is the one that beat her and held her head underwater, but Sarah took the blame for it because Jennifer had already had a record, and then Sarah actually got convicted and sentenced. It wasn't, I don't think there was any jail time.
Sentence for child abuse, and they still kept them?
Yeah, well,
Oh my God.
that's, wear a couple tie-dye T-shirts, you'll be in. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We got it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just
What
spout
a
out that
fake-
it's a joke, the whole thing.
I hope they're in hell.
I can tell you this right now, if that same person who beat the child had a MAGA hat on, oh man, they're toast.
Right?
They would have got 20 years in prison.
Right?
Now here it comes. Oh, Gray. I liked it until you started. Okay. Well, that's just the reality.
Oh, me.
Oh, that's right.
Go behind your back.
That's right.
All right, well, I enjoy your videos, I really do, but this one is tough. I mean, it is just
Sucks. Yeah.
gut-wrenching. It's just, and the thing is, it's like, you coward bitch. If you were going to kill yourself, why didn't you just kill yourself, okay? I mean, did you think that they weren't going to investigate and find out that you were a phony piece of crap?
Thanks, Renee. Yeah, just look at all, that one of the worst parts is how all of their friends were just trying to make excuses for him all the time. Every time there was an interview, they'd be coming out saying, "Oh, yeah, I've got this, I've got the birthday party for Sarah's video. I downloaded it a long time ago. I don't think that's owned by anybody now because they're not alive."
That was brutal. Lee, I've.
Oh, really? You should put it online.
I do have a video of it. I think I just changed the music around or something. I think I've got like 6 or 7 Hart videos out there for sure. Yeah.
I was going to say I did watch one of your videos last year, but I just can't remember. Because I'm not I'm kind of new to YouTube because I like 99% of people that have YouTube channels shouldn't have YouTube channels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like what you do. And you're thorough and fair and logical, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that's when I go postal on something is after I've already done the logical thinking, and then you just realize, wow, these guys are monsters.
And then people that copy off of you, I swear I've watched videos of you, and then I'll watch, someone else, and it's like, whoa, wait, they're repeating almost verbatim what Gray said.
Yeah, I've seen those, but if I say anything, people think I'm,
Be
Gray,
original,
you're
people.
just, so I don't do it.
I say get off my Gray.
Get off my gray, she said.
Get off. I know. I'm kind of perverted.
Thanks, Wicked Gaming.
But, oh well. Get off my gray. Freaks.
All right.
All right. Daddy freak.
Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Hey, no, keep up the great work.
All right, thank you. All right, bye. Wicked Gaming. Oh, let's hear how it's going to read this.
Gotta jump back into my case I've been working on today.
Hey, what happened to the... Oh, it didn't read all the rest of it. That sucks. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is the... for some reason, this wasn't on the screen, but when people contribute, it actually fills that jar up. But that's just a Streamlabs thing. I guess that was something new. I didn't realize they had it. I was seeing it on other YouTube channels. I was like, oh. So I'll read what Wicked Gaming's thing said. Gotta jump back into my case I've been working on today. You're so mean. Smiling face. I don't know what that one is. Purple heart dog. Smiling face with crying eyes. Heart. What? I can't even. We love you, meanie. All right, well, thank you. I can't read some of that. You have to have that accent, though. All right. Well, call in, man. Vent your frustrations on this. And yes, I'm not PC, all right, everybody? If you're looking for that, you're in the wrong place. Yeah. God, there's just so much garbage in this case. Look at this. Let me, I've got this whole folder full. Look at this. I have a binder full of it. Yeah, like here's the neighbors. Remember this? Here's the neighbors after the bodies were found.
One of the children came over and started asking for food. And it went on for a period of time until we kind of determined that he was probably reaching out. And we determined that we should call the Child Protective Services, and that's what we did on Friday.
And you said you think it was Devontae who was coming to ask for food.
Oh,
you know
it was Devontae.
Definitely.
You guys have shown us pictures, and we've talked about that one, that it was Devontae for sure.
Well, they obviously had
Yeah.
a separate lives. Their public life was presented, and they did it to us.
Thanks, Lanky Jen.
They portray this happy little family.
See, this is exactly right here. Listen to
Yet,
it. They
the night
portray.
before, their daughter's telling us, please, 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 begging us not to make her go back, and that they were abusing her. It's unbelievable. I mean, what you're showing me, that they were part of that, and the pictures, it was not the...
See, that's not true what she just said. The night before. That wasn't the night before. That was months before. It was Devontae that was the recent one.
family we saw next door.
Yeah.
I feel like there was
Amazing
nobody...
work Ray is working on. 3 men
in their
and a
court.
mystery podcast.
I feel that
thanks.
if there was people that knew these people, how could you miss that? Because I gleaned that quickly with hardly any interface. It's not how I thought it was going to end. I thought it was going to end in a beautiful life for them. Breaks my heart.
Yeah, she's been crying all morning about it because it's, you
No.
know, we kind of
Not true,
started
Jimmy.
some of this with the whole, you know.
I was trying to help them and protect them. And this is the result.
So Sarah was a mummy? Wow, that's so weird. Look how brilliant that Jimmy Buscemi is, man. Just a genius. So let me guess. So Jennifer Hart was a zombie. Like, she was already dead, everybody. Her head was off. And then she drove the car off the edge dead already. And then she knew prior that all of their heads would, it would make sense. So she made all of their heads kind of come off a little bit too. Jesus, what a clown. God. Another conspiracy theory wacko, everybody. Anyways, that was from the Oregonian there, as you can see. Yeah, remember this crap here? Look at they're hanging out these little nature bullshit. Oh!
We live and let live and we get.
Oh, yeah.
Just so why should I hate you for being?
Man, there she is. Oh, good old Jennifer right there.
Human nature, so why should I hate you for being as human? Sing that song too. Thank you. Who's joined me?
Yeah, that was fantastic. This is the famous picture, if you remember, right here. Down in Portland, my neck of the woods. I'm not sure what.
Good evening. We're here in front of the family's Woodland house. It has been a day of stunning developments. First, there was the wreck itself, that SUV going into the ocean. Then the fact that 5 in this family of 8 were killed.
It's hard to even know that they were happy at those. Probably weren't able to eat.
Are still missing. Then it came the Devontae Hart connection, that famous photo hitting so many people the first and now second time around. On top of that, neighbors are also divulging why they think the family left in the first place. He was the boy in the photo that showed the heart of the protest. The year, 2014. The place, downtown Portland. The cause, the fatal shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Devontae are still missing.
Maybe I should have used that picture of them. That's like what you. That's a regular. That's what she kind of looks like.
Are still missing. Looking for food. He told them his mom.
This is the result.
Now, wreck happened, but for the DeKalbs, the timeline is heartbreaking.
I was trying to help them and protect them. And this is the result.
Now, we dug into the Hart's background, and as it turns out, Sarah Hart, back in 2010 in Minnesota, was convicted of assaulting one of her adopted daughters after she told detectives that she, quote, let her anger get out of control and bent the girl over a bathtub to spank her. Now, state authorities tonight just
Okay, here's one thing I hate, though, on my... Because right now, a lot of people are starting to watch my Hart videos from before. And what's amazing to me, there's people that live in the area and they go, wow, I'm just hearing of this now. And I'm like, well, I think you need to get out more then. I mean, how do you not know of this case? And again, it's like what we were talking about last night. You know, maybe just because we're in the true crime world, we follow this stuff. And some of these, and other people just don't give a damn at all about true crime. They would if they knew about it, but they don't. But what I've noticed on my videos is hundreds of people start talking about, oh, you shouldn't let lesbians adopt people. And I think that's so ludicrous, okay? That has nothing to do with it. Okay? It really doesn't. What it has to do with is you had 2 absolutely fake, moronic, barbarian parents that are just all they cared about was the image that they portrayed to others and the financial gain that they could get from having these kids, and that's it. Okay? But yes, I get those comments all the time. They never make it out because I don't allow them onto the video. But I get like 10 a day that say the same shit. As a matter of fact, if I even see the word lesbian in the post, it doesn't make it out because that means you're trying to pin it on those people, and that's complete bullshit. Okay, it has nothing to do with that at all. All right, so you might think you're clever typing it in, but it's not making it out onto the channel. All right. All right. Let me try to find some of these other ones. Got so many clips in here. Isn't that amazing that, I don't know if that's one of the girls. That doesn't look like one. That Hannah is 16 and she weighs like 80 pounds. Oh yeah, let me find that birthday one. I did see it in there. I know her face is... Oh, there it is right there.
Oh, happy birthday to me.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Yep, that's right. This is where it's just all fake. This whole thing. Seriously, there isn't a moment of genuine anything in this video here. Watch this. Let's put this music to it. Oh yeah, happy birthday to you. No, it doesn't have anything to do with why they killed them, though, Elaine. I mean, I get what you're saying, that they get treated differently by CPS, but that has nothing to do with why they killed the kids, okay? So what I said was correct, not what you're saying. Or you misunderstood what I was talking about. Right, well that's the CPS's fault though. It has nothing to do with them being lesbian though. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh man, he's probably like, God, man, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. Okay, now go in there and come out waving your hand like you went to the bathroom. Okay, pretend to be, oh look, and I'm turning around, everybody pretend like it's fun, and... Wow, they must have had a GoPro camera. Well, Elaine, that's ridiculous that you think that way then, okay? There's nothing to disagree about. I'm saying that they're not, lesbian couples can have kids just like anybody else. These two are just different. Okay, now maybe CPS treats them differently. That's on CPS. Okay, what I said is accurate, okay? I'm not going to allow you to be on here and saying ridiculous things like you're trying to get by everybody. Well, we're just going to have to disagree to, agree to disagree. I'm so smart. No, what you said is lunacy, okay? It's not even what I said. So you're disagreeing with something that isn't even what I said, but then you keep saying we're going to have to agree to disagree. So what it means is inside you actually believe because they're lesbian, that's why they killed them. Okay? That's bullshit, okay? Okay, well, it's a horrible opinion, okay? I don't know what the stats are, what the person said up there about domestic violence and everything. I just know that if it's true what you're saying, you'd see way more incidents of all these kids being killed all around the country. Okay, but these two parents didn't give a shit about their kids. All they cared about was using them for financial gain. Look at that. Look at that weird, how weird this is. She's almost one of the oldest people in this entire group right here. Like, see, that's Hannah right there. Did she look at the camera? Hold on. Right. That's right, Kelly. But I guarantee it that CPS politically is different. You know, they have a little bit more of a kinship, if you will. Okay, that part I agree with. Okay, but I'm not. That has nothing to do with anything other than that. I mean, that's it. There's no other correlation. They're sort of like-minded politically, basically. Well, I think Sarah's filming it. Yeah. I get like so many people want me to cover all these different cases all the time. You know, I always get leery of the ones they go, oh, I've been following this case for years. Hey, would you cover it? Well, then if I cover it and I don't say what you always thought, you'll probably not like it. Oh, they do have a GoPro. Look at it.
Would love a video with your view on what happened to Timothy Spitzer. Love you, Gray.
What is Aratria's topic? I hope it's not true crime also. I'm getting really sick of every day another true crime, true crime, true crime, true crime. It's just, oh, God. Playing your interactions with the kids all. Haven't I seen your channel before? I don't remember. She looks just like your mom. Oh my God. You must not sleep very well when you go over to the house to visit. Yeah, it's all fake. Look at this. The part that's most fake is when this part right here. This one. Look. Oh, oh, wow. Oh, look at my big smile. You're so great, and we just love you so much. And man, looks like those dogs got fed well. Look at them. Jesus. Have they never found those dogs, have they? So they must have given those away to people. Maybe Devante's still alive out there in some community being hidden away. Wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, I'm sure it's not true, but it's possible. Since they haven't found him yet. The only one they didn't find. The Barbarians. Yeah. Devante is probably so weak he couldn't catch himself when he jumped off. A tribute. All right. What do you mean? What are you sorry about, Eritrea? A tribute paid here? I don't get it. I guess it's girl code again. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Happy 37th. So that was only a year before the murders. Anyhow, what else we got? Where's that drone footage? I think I have that somewhere. Oh, that was my video that I made on it. Let's see. Well, do any of you guys want to call in and tell me your thoughts on this? If not, I'll probably just end the show early. But that's right. You remember, this is the case that the Daily Mail said it was a Sierra pickup truck. Okay? But in reality, that's one of the people's names, one of the girls' name, and it wasn't. I remember that right at the beginning. This is probably like 2 or 3 years before, I would think. Well, I'll have to go check out Eritrea's channel, see what it's about. Oh yeah, Night Nico, right? We're so provided for. Really? How come I can't get something to eat? You know, I get so disturbed. It seems like Jennifer was hoping, hey, maybe we can create some sort of a band with these kids. You know, we can get them to sing a little bit, and we'll be really famous. Apparently, when Trump won, it sort of ruined her whole idea of utopia, and people claim that she thought that her kids would be taken from her if Trump was president. And then I would think, well, good for Trump. Jesus. I mean, man. That'd have been awesome, wouldn't it? That if he had gotten them away from the kids. Of course, that kind of thinking is just ludicrous. It doesn't work like that. EVP? Oh my God. Is that really like EVP? Like, is that what that means? Like EVP readings? Yeah, I think they both did. Although I have to say Jennifer was the more dominant of the two. And Sarah was just kind of, she was the main money maker, so Jennifer just sort of stayed at home. Sarah was the money maker, and Jennifer just sat at home, collecting the checks from Texas and Sarah's money and taking care of the kids. What a nightmare. So Sarah would sometimes come in and sort of occasionally defend the kids and help them after their beatings, right? But how come she didn't get those kids out of there? She's just as bad as any of them, you know? She's just as bad as Jennifer. Now, they adopted them. They adopted them, but they were special needs, so they kept getting paid. Right, I know. They worked at Kohl's, yep. Everybody knows. We covered that on the show. Let's see. Yeah, well, I'm not to all that information yet. I'm going to do the second day, the last little bit of day one, and then the second day, and then put that all together too. I think that part probably tells more of the story part of it, and the CPS angle and things that have gone on over the years. No, we just said that Sarah worked at Kohl's. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Well, I think that's it for me tonight. Nobody seems to want to call in and talk about it, so I'm going to call it a night, and hopefully you guys can join in when I cover part 2, maybe in the next couple days or so, maybe Tuesday. All right? But, it was a case that I was very connected to. We covered it many times because there was so much new information coming out, all the different videos and so forth over time. And we figured it out, what happened. And it turns out it's basically accurate. All right, so let me thank Delusional Lucidity, Someone Hill, Delusional Lucidity again, Lori Vanda Belt, Renee Folk, Wicked Gaming, Sam the Schnoz, and Sabrina Rodriguez. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Oh, was that just now? Oh, right now. Sabrina. Oh, and Sabrina Rodriguez again. Thank you. Yeah, why didn't you call in, Aratria? Could have plugged your channel. I'll go check it out. See what's going on over there. All right. But anyways, I thank you guys all for showing up tonight.
We thank you, Gray, for being the true crime boss.
Yeah, thanks. And the thing is, a lot of people send me stuff, different people to cover. But it seems like a lot of times they're the ones that everybody else covers. Like, hey, Gray, I'd love to hear you cover the JonBenet Ramsey case. And I'm like, oh boy. I don't really want to, okay? Every single theory has been explained. I probably would just end up agreeing with parts of somebody. It's sort of, I've lost my interest in it. Oh boy, here we go. This is Gray.
Hey.
Hello?
This is Miss Amy. Hello?
Yeah, who is it?
Is this Gray?
Yeah, this is Gray, yep.
Okay. I'm going to make sure I had the right number.
Well, who's this?
I'm so sorry. This is Miss Amy. And
okay.
I watched that whole Hart situation from the beginning, and it was it was just so horrible, you know, and I feel real bad. Oh, it breaks my heart for those children. I don't have a bit of sympathy for those ladies. I'm sorry.
I'm having a hard time understanding, or it's kind of breaking up or
Oh,
something.
okay. It's this thing. I'm breaking up, I think. And besides, I've got allergy infection.
Oh, maybe that's it.
It's smacking me.
Okay.
My voice. But anyway, I just wanted to call and say hello and tell you how much I love your show. And I went to I was going to those crazy shows that people like, because it was all over everywhere about that, and I was just, what did they say? And they and then they kept telling me too, and I think what this idiot's got to say. And I wish your show, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You know, what's weird is I can't understand about 30 of your words, but some of them were nice.
Oh, I am so sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's a lot better, yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't hear hard at all. I had my earbuds in, and it was over a little bit. But
oh, okay.
My fault. But anyway, I don't get to always watch your shows, and I don't always get to. I don't always get to comment. My comments.
Yeah.
They get it's that when you're typing in and you got it all right, then it changes it so you can do it, and you're like, what? I had to 3 times to read my message.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, I think thanks for calling in and being, following the. What case was it that you started watching the channel?
Oh, KJ. Timothy Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I thought, oh my gosh, are they crazy? I mean, I didn't know what the world was going on. And,
it's still just as bad. See, a lot of you don't realize it, but every day I have one Kanika Jenkins video that has like 1.7 million views on it. So every single day I still get people watching it. And they're just as moronic and idiotic today as they were then. I mean, it's like every single comment is, "Hey, Gray, man, you work for those guys, man. Don't you see they got?" One person said today. They said it was crazy. They said today was in the Kanika Jenkins. They said, "Oh, that's bullshit. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't intoxicated. She was on drugs," is what they said. She wasn't intoxicated. She was on drugs. And I typed in, I go, do you know what intoxicated means? It means on drugs or alcohol and impairing your ability to, it's like these, it's just, I don't really get it, how stupid these people are, okay, that are following that case. And I'm really going to say that. I think they're absolute idiots, okay? So
I do
it's
too.
scary.
I do too. That's what run me off. From seeing them, I thought, they can't be saying that. They don't believe that. But they did, evidently they did believe it, and they were just really bad. But I got to your channel, and I like, wow, why are they dissing this man? He's so nice, and he tells it like it is, and he shows you how he come up with the solution. It was great.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow these. There's some weird comments going on in there. Looks like a troll kind of stuff. But I can't read it. I'll have to go up and read it. I don't want to just jump in, and I don't know what somebody said. But no, nobody's comments are allowed because they've donated money. I don't even look at the comments. Okay, it's like I look at the comments, but about 30% of them Okay, you guys know I
Right,
read them because I
right.
respond to people. But what I'm saying is I don't sit there and read every one of them, staring at the screen, reading them all. Like there's a couple of channels that just do that, and it's like, well, what are you doing?
Oh
What's
my
the point of
goodness,
that?
I'm,
Just
I'm,
staring at the
I'm
screen?
almost blind already, and I'm almost blind. Well, at my age, it comes along, and I'm almost blind to begin with. So, I couldn't read all that hours of the day. That's why I said I know you absolutely
Yeah.
do the best job around. I mean, I am so fascinated by it. It's just unreal. It's fantastic. I'm an elderly lady. I guess one of my sons is your age, and and they'll hear me talking about something. They'll say, "Where'd you hear that?" I said, "Ray." So they got used to me. So they don't watch it. They're crazy. No, my sons are crazy. They just like to watch music and movies and junk like that. My kids, like I said, I got 2 living in there.
Yeah.
They lost their jobs, and so that's bad.
Yeah. All
But,
right. Well,
I just want to call you and say hi, and I think you're great, and
well, thanks.
I'm tongue-tied now.
Well, thanks for calling in.
I just finally got the nerve to call me.
Well, I appreciate it. Now go. You get in there and chat away with all of them. They'll all say, "Hey!" They'll like that you called in. But thanks for calling in.
Thank you. I
That was
appreciate it.
very nice
Good
of
night,
you.
Greg. You have a great night.
You too. All right. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
There it is, Miss Mamie. I don't know what's going on, what you guys are talking about. Hello.
Hi. This is Eritrea. Now I have to call
Oh,
in. I got
boy.
put on the spot.
Oh boy, here we go. What's going on?
Oh, here we go. Oh, first of all, I mean, I don't really know what there is to say about this case. It's absolutely disgusting. Like, the whole time watching this, I'm crying. I want to, reach through the screen and just choke these two people. And I don't know how anybody didn't know about this case, because it was everywhere the day of the crash.
Yeah, but I think it's everywhere for true crime people. Like when you're on Facebook, and it was in the news and stuff, but it wasn't pushed like other cases are because, again, here's what I will bet you $1 million that if these people were Trump supporters did the same thing, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC would have covered it day in and day out until everything was figured out. But instead, because of the political leanings of the suspects, they kind of covered it a little bit, but then moved on to other things. And that's what's sad to me, is that it sort of became, for me it's political, because this case right here is insane. Like, it should have been talked about and discussed, and maybe it would have made a difference, but that's it. Anyways.
I totally agree with that, because I remember hearing about it as if it was an accident, which, when they don't know, makes sense. And then you're right, not hearing anything else about. I don't watch the news anyway. I've probably heard about it on
listen, Don Lemon.
news.
Yeah, Don Lemon. He would have gone to the site here and sat there and went, "Oh, there's no way in hell this was an accident." Oh my God! I'm talking if they were mega hat wearing Trump supporters. You would have seen Don Lemon standing on this little cliff, pointing down, doing show after show, driving to all the towns, Instead, that didn't happen because, ooh, shoot, man, that's a demographic that's part of our sort of our core here, and I think that sucks. I don't really care about any of that stuff.
It totally sucks.
You know, and it's true too. So if there's anybody in here that doesn't think that wouldn't have happened, you are delusional. Okay, that is the truth. If those two parents were MAGA hat wearing Trump supporters who did the same thing to those kids, my God, it would have been all over every news channel for months, nightly covered until it was completely resolved. And that is the honest to God truth. I just know it to be fact. Okay, and so I don't really know how to say it.
You can't be wrong about that because, okay, I live in the Pacific Northwest. There are people watching that live on the West Coast, San Francisco, the Bay Area. You're in Oregon. So, like, we know what these areas are like and how these protests kind of go. Why is there that picture? That picture was like a famous photograph of the kid running up to the police officer crying.
Yeah.
So they have time to do all. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to get through downtown Seattle in the middle of a protest, but you cannot. You will walk miles.
Yeah. I think that was Portland.
So you have time.
That little picture.
Yeah, Portland. It's just, but still, downtown Seattle, Portland. If you try to get through any of these cities during a protest, you won't. It takes time to get to those protests. They had signs, and so they have all this time to do this shit, but they don't have time to feed the kids that they're being paid to feed.
Yeah, no, it's...
And that's why I didn't want to call, because I was pissed.
Well, they just, let's see. I think they were just cruel. They were just, these parents were just cruel people. Okay, the whole house looked like kids did not live there other than like a box of toys, but there was no beds, there was nothing. Then the refrigerator was just chocked full of the best food you could ever want to eat. And they didn't get any of it. So
freaking sick.
Yeah.
It's just sick, but I appreciate you covering it because you're right. It would have been totally unbelievably dragged all over the front page of everything as a political tool against anybody that was even conservative leaning, even in the middle of the road.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like if you had, let's say that they were. Yeah, I mean, all I can say is it's just a mom and a dad who didn't feed their kids, and they were both Trump supporters. My God, they would have covered this thing, and especially, and they had 6 African American kids. They would have turned it into a huge race thing. They would have turned it, and there is probably a racial component, obviously, here. One of the kids said that when they ran over those neighbors' house, said that their parents were racist. So the thing is, but. They're not going to talk about it on CNN because it's a demographic that perpetrated this that they think are supporters of their channel and then sort of their agenda as a station, which sucks.
It's just such that makes you look bad.
Yeah, you just got to admit it. Look what I think. I know that right now there's some people that are. Like Lanky Jen, right? You have to agree that that's what CNN would do, right? I mean, look what they did with that story with that actor who came up with the fake attack, right? They covered that thing. Oh, my God, it's horrible. Oh, it's not even real. Oh, shit. They were so disappointed.
And all the representatives that were outraged, and then after they found out it was fake, they wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
And then all of those felonies just go away. It's unprecedented. So,
I think the FBI should then. I think the FBI needs. I think Trump should have the FBI go in and and investigate
It's
it.
going away. They should, but it's going to go away. It's going to go away.
Yeah,
It's definitely going to go away.
Well, maybe there'll be a documentary on it at some point where somebody gets access to the other two people. They're going to tell the truth. Somebody needs to file charges against those two guys so that they'll come forward and tell their story, and then we'll all know what the truth is. You know, like actually...
There needs to be civil damages.
Yeah.
And you could... The city of Chicago is pissed. The police department in Chicago is angry. And they could go after at least Smollett for damages for the investigation costs, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody knows anything about Chicago, they might not. But they're angry. Police department's mad there, too, so... I hope something comes of it, but I think it's going to go away silently because that's the cards that they're playing right now.
Wow, what did... hey, Miss Mamie. Look at Miss Mamie. She typed in Ga Kavau So Mu HV. I think her fingers were on the wrong keys. Let me move those over. Hold on. Let's see. If I move them over a spot, let's see. So she probably meant F... Let me see. And then G... I don't know. I'll figure it out. Come on, Miss Mamie, type that in again. I gotta see what that said.
We need a laugh tonight, Miss Mamie. Help us out.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Well, I don't... they did a lot of traveling after... When they went down further into California, they went to a lot of places. And I guess they go over all that, so I'm going to be mapping that out. I think this might be a 3-parter because it's the second day is 8 hours and it's pretty long, so I might do a second part coming up.
Yeah, that's the other thing I kind of wanted to say. When, Linky Jen is like saying I have a channel. First of all, I would never ever come in someone's spot and try to promote a channel, so I'm sorry, but
that's all right.
And also, I would never try to do true crime. There are so many. Okay, so there's good channels, right? I happen to think you're the best channel. There's nobody that does what you do, how you do it, and kind of just cuts to the BS. There's nobody on YouTube doing what you do that does it the way you do it as well as you do it. That's my opinion.
Well,
allegedly.
Some people agree with that. I don't know. I'd like to think I was the best one, but who knows, right?
Yeah. So, and there's zero chance in hell any more amateurs are needed to do true crime on YouTube. Yeah, you can post, the biggest story or whatever and probably get a lot of subs that day if nobody else happens to be talking about it. But I could never sustain that, so I would never do that. That's just a joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I apologize if it seemed like I definitely wouldn't try to promote anything on anybody's. I'm not doing anything relevant. Let's just say that, okay?
Well, I hope you do stuff that's relevant, or nobody will watch it. You gotta have.
Yeah, well, if nobody watches.
Well, you're gonna have. What are you gonna? What are you gonna talk about? What do you mean by relevant? I mean, I can't hear you right now. You just cut yourself off.
Oh, you can't?
Oh, now I can. Yeah.
Okay. So what had happened was YouTube changed the rules, right, about the number of subscribers you need in order to go live on your mobile device.
Oh.
And so I had been opening up live streams just kind of like to test YouTube streams, how it works.
On a mobile phone?
When you get copyright.
Do you use OBS
on
a phone?
Well, okay, so I was opening it up on my desktop, and then all of a sudden I couldn't connect to the encoder. And I was like, well, that sucks. I'll just go on my phone and do it. So I went on my phone to do it, and it was like, nope, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. So I was like, wait a minute.
I think you can. When did they do that? When did they do that? Because you can do live streams with that just right off the get-go. You don't need any subscribers.
2 days ago they changed it.
Ah, jeez, really? Well, that's good
And
in a way because, you know, there's a lot of people that just kind of, they have like 9 subscribers and they'll sit online for like 10 hours and all 9 of those people are sitting there. So they get like 90 hours of view time really quick, you know? It's kind of weird.
You do. I got like 700 hours or something off 2 streams. But I think, and the rumor was that, and I don't know if this is true, the rumor was that they changed it because of the massacre that happened on Facebook Live in New Zealand that you covered the night it happened. I don't know if that's fact.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if that's a fact?
Oh, I don't know, but it sounds like something that could be that because it's sort of like you don't want these people just creating a quick channel, go live, and
right.
You know, if 1,000 takes a while, so you'd have to. I mean, normally, you know, unless you're doing Chris Watts, you know, then you can really boost that sucker up.
You're instantly okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say it. I got you to say it.
Yeah, but I said it in a negative way. I don't even want. I just.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, so I guess there is an OBS that you can use from a mobile device. I'm just not going to probably mess with it. But no, I mean, I'm just like talking about music. Today we had a conversation about vaping, quitting smoking, smoking regulations, nicotine regulations, and what the government is basically doing to keep big tobacco in business because of the taxes that are paid in. So it's relevant, but it, you know, it's just kind of like a BS format right now until I get it up and running. So definitely not trying to promote anything. I'm sorry if it came out that way. And definitely not true crime. Jesus. That's not happening. But I really appreciate you covering
Maybe you should get work your way into EVP readings, you know?
Oh, you know, actually, I could. I saw this lady online that was giving
that was a joke.
$15.
Yeah.
For $15 super chat, you can ask her one question, and she'll show you one tarot card.
Wow, that's genius, man.
One tarot card for $15.
I mean, you know what's funny is you guys are the ones that told me to go into my jail, and then people would bail me out of my jail. I didn't even think of that as a sort of a, you know, as a funny sort of thing to do or whatever.
It's a damn good gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Bail money.
Well, I don't want to call it, I mean, a gimmick sounds like something I tried to think of, but I didn't even think of it. I was just making it like, because people say, Gray, you're so mean. So I thought, hey, that'd be funny if I put myself in a so mean prison. And then somebody goes,
think of the bail money. We did.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it. But, you know, thank you.
And no, there will be no EVP readings because I'm not that psychotic. Let's just say I'm not that delusional that like someone I never met in my entire life is going to come talk to me through some phone app. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But, you know what I was thinking about in the talk about Blazer tickets. Why do I want to talk about Blazer? Oh, you are. Wait, let's see. Wait, you're the one.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, because you have a different name on. Oh. Yeah. Well, she said she helped me out with some tickets, but see, I'm a huge Nurkic fan. I'd rather wait till next year when he comes back. Is that cool? Like, if you could somehow get me the game that he comes back. Oh man. Yeah.
So the game he comes back is going to be next season.
Right, yeah. Next year. That's if you still know me or watch my channel. All
right, so I will. So let's make a deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any bets against you on anything, okay? But what I will do is I'll say if I still work there.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, when does NBA season start up again? You'll know.
Usually October or something.
Okay.
Late.
So chances are really good that I'll still work there in October. And I think we have NFL that time too. I'm kind of brain dead right now. I've been working long hours. But I'll get you tickets for the game he comes back. If you tell me what game that is, because I'm not that sports nerdy to know
I won't know. I might not. I mean, I don't have a clue. Nope. I don't think anybody's going to have a clue. I'm just kind of going with 8 months of recovery, but it could be longer.
Okay.
You know? So
The night that injury happened, I sent a link of the injury to my boss, and he's like, "That was brutal."
yeah, it was horrible. It's horrible. I you know, what's funny is I was doing a show with, I think, I was doing a show, and I just sort of put you guys on, you know, I was playing a video, so I put it on mute, and then I went over and turned my head and watched, and what was weird is Lillard hurt his knee right before that, and then he go down the other direction. He jumps up near, and you hear this, and then like I actually knew he broke his leg the second he hit the ground. I could see it flopping around, like in the air when he went. I go, oh my God, he just broke his leg. And then he was just on the ground.
You guys all need to go look it up. Everybody needs to go look that up on YouTube. If you think you're having a bad day, go look at that. That's a bad day.
Yeah, but at least he broke. You know, the thing is, it's almost worse when you tear your knee or ligaments. Like, his bones are going to grow back stronger than it was before. So.
Well, maybe he's going to be that much better for it, you know?
Well, he's young enough where he might still be able to forget about it. I think when you're older, you start going, oh my God. Yeah.
It'll come back.
Like, you don't want to. It must make you nervous, because all he did was jump up in the. His name is Yusuf Nurkic. He was playing at all-star level as well. The last, like, I mean, in that game he had 32 points, something like 12 rebounds. I mean, it was ludicrous. And then he just breaks his leg on one of the last plays, in overtime. It was insane. Second.
Oh my God, Raven has a new knee. Breaking news.
Wow.
He has a new.
That's pretty. That's pretty hard to break your. How do you do that 3 times?
It must be related to the drone thing. I don't know. That's probably why he's so good at the drone, because he's robotic. Like,
yeah. Hey, but hey, Raven, the drone that stuff isn't working for me, because my drone, the wire that you connect to the caller is Eritrea, by the way, Raven. But when I connect to the computer, it doesn't even make the sound. When Windows connects to a USB where it goes bling or something, it doesn't even know. It doesn't even connect whatsoever to the. So I don't know if it's the cord or what, but I ordered one. I'm just getting really frustrated, actually, because I want to do the flight simulator. I think that'd be a huge thing, because you can connect the drone controller to your computer and then fly on their flight simulator, which is really it'd be amazing, because then you could just fly around like it was the drone and practice all the different moves and everything. But I can't.
Okay, I think now Raven needs to call in.
No, but that doesn't work, Raven, because I ran that thing all it does is it looks for a controller, and then if it finds a controller, it installs drivers. But it's not finding my controller, because it's not even connecting to the computer whatsoever. See? That's what I'm saying.
That's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's just, so I ordered this a USB cable that's supposed to work. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
All right, Raven, it's your turn to call in and provide drone.
Well, I don't want to keep talking about drones. I actually kind of want to just
go to bed.
Getting close, anyways.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you. I would have called. I was just so pissed. Like, watching that, I think you did a really good job of provoking the emotion that the science dude. What's his title?
I think he's a medical examiner. I don't know when they say coroner's inquest. I keep thinking, okay, so that's somebody else. The coroner. I think I don't know who the guy that was doing the inquest, what his name is, what he does. I don't know who he is, but he's great. Like, I wish he was the actual medical examiner. He could have.
The older gentleman at the podium, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, the older gentleman at the podium had seemed to dig a little bit deeper into some of the stuff that people might need to know to understand. the severity of the condition.
It was really
before
just
they
shocking.
died.
It was kind of shocking how poor the medical examiner's communication with just about what he
The
does.
stammering.
I mean, we all kind of, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest all the time, but I'm saying in his case, this stuff should just roll off his tongue like it's
Right.
second nature. But talking about, well, yeah, it was like his brain, her brain was kind of like goo, and you couldn't really,
Yeah,
you weren't able to
what
like
was
do
that?
anything, and it was, yeah, I mean, you couldn't really even, it was just kind of a gray kind of sort of a, like, God, really? Just say this.
Yeah.
Well, her brain
that's a
was
technical term,
her brain was
matter.
yeah. I mean, all he had to say was yes. Her brain was autolyzed or decomposed to a point where we really couldn't examine it and determine any significant things about it. It was basically a liquid. Now, that's exactly what Kevin Horn said about Jodi Arias's brain. However, he was telling an untruth when he said that. So there you go.
Yeah, we could have an extended analysis of Jodi Arias's brain and never quite do much more than waste our time on that whole disaster. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
And
Well,
your
thanks for-
chat and your channel. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing true crime.
Let's check out Eritrea. That's right, not Eritrea. Eritrea's
No, there's nothing there.
Eritrea's.
There's nothing there.
Okay, there's nothing there, so look at nothing. All right, but
Yeah.
anyways.
All right. Thanks,
thanks.
Ray.
Yeah,
I
thanks
hope
for-
you have a great night. And
No, you too.
we'll connect when the season starts rolling around about those tickets. All right.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Good
All right.
night.
All right, good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Yeah, so that sound you just heard at the end there, that was Eritrea, but the sound you just heard is sort of what it sounds like when you plug in your USB port. But one of these days, you might have to call me up on Skype, Raven, and maybe work through it, but I don't know. It just should work. Like, I go to different forums and people explain things, but they all seem to start at the point where the computer actually recognizes a device. Mine doesn't even do that. It does charge it though. Like if I plug that same thing goes into it, it seems to only charge. I wonder if the communication part. I don't know if it's. People do say it can be the cord though, so we'll see. I have one on order, but it didn't come with a cord. Isn't that lame? All they came with was a charger for the controller on a different unit, but not a cord itself just for that, like a regular USB type cord. Anyways, yeah, so I guess in conclusion with the part one would be that the officers were called to the scene and he had a trainee with him. I didn't put her stuff on there because it was really just repeating what the first guy said. And the firemen were already there. They came down this direction and found that there was 2 people in the car, 3 bodies here, but I don't think they didn't take anybody out. They were just checking on them. And then the water got so high that helicopters had to come in, and they lifted down like those little, I'm not sure what you call them, the like a body holder thing, the helicopters. So it lifted them up and took all 3 bodies up here, and then eventually they were put into body bags of the 3 children. I think it was, let's see. I can't remember exactly which one. Maybe like, I know both the older children. Well, not Devontae though. But 2 boys and 1 girl. And so they were pulled out of the water here, and then the car was here. It was still upside down. Then they brought a tow truck in, and it just couldn't pull it up because it weighed so much. Yeah, one of those baskets. I don't know what those are actually called, though. Do they have an official name? So they couldn't pull it up with the regular tow truck, so they got a industrial-sized tow truck, literally like a semi-truck. And then they had firemen go down on ropes and then tie the cables to the car. Then when they pulled up the car on the way up, Jennifer's body fell out and plopped onto the rocks, thankfully. Okay? And then I guess she had to be extricated too at some point. Yeah, gurney, I guess. Is that what they call those that are hanging from helicopters? Okay. Then they went through all of the autopsy, and almost all of them died from their heads being ripped off from the highest cervical vertebrae. The highest one, the one that's right below the skull, right below the foramen magnum, okay? And so they didn't actually get ripped off where the head was separated, but it had the same effect. Their head was separated from their body, and their spinal cord was severed as well. So I think 4 or 5 of them had that. I think one of them... No, I think all 5 of the victims they found there all had the same thing. They weren't able to tell when they found... I think it was Sierra that was found later, if my memory's right. And when her body came to shore, and they weren't able to tell with her. And the medical examiner, he said that he didn't see any signs of malnutrition or sort of neglect in that area. And it's like, what in the hell are you talking about? You know? Unbelievable. I mean, you got the Marcus, he weighed 124 pounds at 19 years old. And I think it was Sierra. Well, here's the thing is Hannah, she weighed something like 80 pounds, and she's 16 at the time. She looked absolutely tiny. And then there was one of the other kids was, I think, 14 and weighed 80 something. I mean, there's no way in hell these aren't malnourished. They're all at the extreme low end of any sort of chart, which are also ludicrous in reality. Some of these charts, you know. Saying the kids were let down is really an understatement, Sam. Was it? Yeah, maybe it is. Is that maybe the Hart case is the first one I was doing lives on? I don't remember, actually. Yeah. Hey, I'm a, hey, I'm a, hey, na 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 na. That guy's... I don't have any ill feelings. That guy seems like he's a decent singer. He just puts on a show and whatever. Right. That's what normal people weigh. You know, I'd say normal people... I mean, it always depends on your height and everything. But how come every single person in their family is shorter than normal and lighter than normal? That's because they weren't given food. That's why Devante was going over to the neighbor's house to try to get food. I think that guy kind of spoiled the true nature of the inquest, to be honest with you. I don't know why they didn't get one of the best MEs to do this case. Instead, it just sounds like they, bottom of the barrel kind of stuff. Yep, it's a murder-suicide. As a matter of fact, I think they have it where Sarah and Jennifer are the murderers and all 6 kids are the suicide. Although, not the other way around, sorry. That the 2 parents killed themselves and then murdered all 6 kids. But it's weird because Sarah was on she had a really large doses of Benadryl in her system. Although the medical examiner made it sound like, oh, it was just kind of, it was just a little bit more than normal. No, it was quite a bit more. But some of these numbers they're putting in these articles, like, she had 42 regular doses. That's the amount. Well, where? He never said any of that stuff. Are they just doing math, like figuring out what the normal doses in nanograms is, and then taking the number that was given and dividing it by that and coming up with the number? I don't know. Yeah, but it didn't say that, Lil Kelly. So they might say it tomorrow. Maybe after the first day it was such a crappy presentation. Tomorrow, maybe on the second day, they actually clarify a bunch of stuff. Like, can you tell us how many times the regular dosage they had? And then he goes, and they did some math. So let's see what they come up with. Maybe they bring him back on. I haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually. I don't know what was going on with that guy. But anyways, hey, it stayed on a little longer. A couple of calls came in, and there you go. So I think I might actually call up DJI to get my answers. I don't know if they can give me one, but... So I thanked everybody for the super chats. Let me see if anything popped into my regular... Let's see. No. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. Appreciate you coming by and joining in. We're just kind of going over this. This might be a 3-parter because I think there's so much more, and it's kind of hard to collect it all and put it in there because it's so much of it. But it should be good. We'll all get to know all the findings, although I do not agree. I'm not a professional medical examiner, but I do not agree with his findings. I didn't like the way he worded. He wasn't sure. He wasn't able to convey the amount of Benadryl to the jury in a way that would let them think about, like, how many doses. At least he didn't do it on the day one. Hopefully they correct it overnight and change that. I also thought it was complete bullshit when he said he didn't see any signs of malnutrition or anything. Okay? These people, all those kids, were not fed enough, and that's why Devontae went out to try to find some food. Okay? The parents were barbarians. Thank you all for showing up tonight. I think Blue might be wrapped up in his little blanket over there. I do not know. I cannot tell for sure. But thank you all for showing up tonight. And until next time, be safe out there.